We are looking ahead now to the general election now that we know which candidates are going to be on the ballot come the fall.
Our political analyst Gibbs Knotts joining us this morning to break down some of last night's results. Gibbs, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to be here.
Let's start with the Republican race for governor, of course, between Pamela Abbott and Alan Wilson. In the June 9th primary, Abbott came out on top by just a couple percentage points, so it was a really close race. Wilson, though, taking the runoff by nearly 70%. Are you surprised by the spread between those two?
I was a little bit surprised. I mean, keep in mind, Pam Abbott got that early Trump endorsement and was the front runner for really most of the race. And so to see Alan Wilson, I wasn't surprised he won necessarily because he seemed to have the momentum and he got that late Trump endorsement. But the spread was definitely something I wasn't expecting.
Because of the Trump endorsement, you think?
I think that did something, but I think he was already had momentum. I mean, he, did really well in the debate that they had. They had a runoff debate, and I think he just kind of was building momentum. And then I think the Trump endorsement was something that probably kind of put it out of reach.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, Wilson's going to face Democrat Jermaine Johnson this November. It's been, almost 30 years since South Carolina has elected a Democratic governor. Do you think this race will be close in November, or what kind of turnout are you expecting specifically for the governor's race?
Yeah, I expect good turnout. And what Jermaine Johnson has going for him is he's running in a midterm election year with a Republican president in the White House. And so that's typically the opposite party typically does well in midterm years. It was 1998. When Jim Hodges, the last Democrat to win as governor, won his election. The last Democrat to win statewide was Jim Rex in 2006. So it's going to be an uphill battle. I keep thinking about that Jamie Harrison, Lindsey Graham Senate race, where Jamie Harrison, the most expensive Senate race in the country. Jamie Harrison raised a ton of money back in 2020. And still Lindsey Graham beating by double digits. And so it's going to be an uphill battle for any Democrat in South Carolina right now.
I remember that so many commercials Lindsey Graham was putting out at that time, too, before that race. All right, moving things over to the first congressional district here in South Carolina. There were runoff elections yesterday for both the Democrats and the Republicans to find their nominee. The seat has flipped blue before. Nancy Mace has held on to it for a couple of terms. Democrat Nancy LaCour going to be taking on Republican Jenny Costa-Honeycutt in November. What are we thinking we're gonna be seeing in this race? Any surprises?
I think we're going to see a good bit of national attention on this race. This is the most competitive congressional district in South Carolina. With that said, though, I mean, with the redistricting that happened, it's a little more Republican than it was when Joe Cunningham won it. And so it's going to still be, definitely, Republican will be favored, but there's a possibility that this could be a competitive election.
Any surprises overall? I know, for voters here in the Low Country, the first congressional district for Democrats was the only Democratic runoff. There were, a lot of candidates that were a part of the primary, so I think that's why we saw so many close numbers, several runoffs. Anything surprising that came out of these runoff elections?
Just the whole, the Trump endorsement to me was the most interesting thing. I know he had, endorsed a governor in Georgia, a governor candidate in Georgia, a governor candidate in Iowa, and the person he picked did not win. And so to see him do that kind of double endorsement in South Carolina, saying that he'd be happy with either Wilson or Yvette. I hadn't seen that before in politics, and that was kind of something that was definitely interesting this cycle.
We were wondering that too. Yeah, we thought that was odd.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you bring this up. Lisa and I were discussing it, and I was thinking maybe, if Wilson did win, that way people, can't go not against Trump, but say something about how he doesn't support the potential South Carolina governor. Do you think that came into play, any of that, for the reason?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't, know this for sure, but my guess is that, that Trump and his people were looking at some polls. They kind of knew that, Wilson was gaining momentum and certainly wanted to make sure that they were backing the person who was expected to be the nominee.
All right. Oftentimes the midterms coming up in November, they favor the party that's not in power at the time. What do you think looking ahead?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close election. I think that we still have, had all these redistricting battles, and so we don't really know what that's going to entail and how different that's changed the political landscape. And then those Senate races, you can't redistrict a U.S. Senate seat, so I'm curious to see, Georgia's got a really interesting and competitive Senate seat with Senator Ossoff, and so to see kind of, that's just right next door as a neighboring state, to see if Ossoff stays in office and is able to win again statewide as a Democrat will be an interesting barometer of what's going to happen nationally.
Gibbs Knotts, always incredible political analysis. We really appreciate you waking up early for us. I got to say, you're actually in Central Time right now, so you're up even an hour earlier. Thank you so much for breaking down some of these big races here in the Low Country.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
And stay with us. We will be right back.